Hey mate, did you hear about that rumour about beer karma?
Beer karma?
You drink one of these and a Victorian cops one.
Oh, really?
They did claim to invent the footy.
G'day Rooters and welcome to yet another fantastic and fun-filled week of Grassroots Online. I am your host Lisa Wright and next to me the man I call Javois, Tom Javor. Welcome Tommy.
Thank you. Why did you get to start this week?
Something different.
Alright, fair enough. You know
Because
why?
I can, it's my show.
Because nothing went as according to script this week. It was a week of upsets in every
Wasn't it
division.
just?
There was a lot of upsets, so let's get off and up. Where are we going this week, Lise?
Well,
We've already been there, so...
yeah, that's it. Well, let's start at the top. Let's start at Div 1, of course. Goodwood now find themselves amongst the middle of the pack with their second win this season against Jets Cross.
Yes, Jets Cross did get within a goal. My mail tells me early into the last quarter, but Goodwood just starting to assert their authority and run away with it in the end. So, too good there.
Absolutely. Now, despite the return of Jack Juniper this week, Shock was still unable to account for Foss.
Yes, things aren't looking good for Shock. They were no match for Foss, unfortunately. They did actually kick a more competitive score of 9 goals when Juniper was up and about, but they'll get better. But yes, it could be a long season for the Shock boys.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you who's been a real surprise packet, then that's Salisbury North.
Yes.
Knocking off Gazer, that's a big win by anyone's stretch. And they sit 4-1 now. They actually have leapfrogged Gazer and they're in the double chance zone, so well done to Salisbury North. But the big standout for me when you look at the results, apart from the main event, the thing we called it Game of the Week last week, Spock knocking off Henley, that's huge, that speaks for itself. But Drew Lister, he's back.
He is back, and I think we didn't even confer before the game. I thought Drew Lister is back. 10 goals against Broadies.
Yes, yeah, you've got more than that, haven't you?
What's that?
On that.
Well, yes, I do. No, I was actually speaking to Rod George earlier in the week, and he said, you know, I hate it when we play Rocks because we just can't find anyone to man up, you know, and do the job on Drew Lister. He loves kicking a bag against us, and that's of course what he did last week as well.
And it's been interesting. He did retire at the end of last year. He wasn't the only person, but he made the big comeback, the big full forward. There was rumours that he was a bit slow, perhaps even overweight, but he's a champion. He's kicked 1,000 goals, and he's a great footballer, and that's all you can say about that. But Sacred Heart, we've got to give him kudos, Lise. We said we would. They're 5-0 now. They're sitting top. They're doing it all, taking all before them.
Spock, you mean?
What did I say?
Shock.
Oh, sorry, Shock.
Yeah, sorry.
You're the anti-Spock.
Yeah, and albeit a narrow win as well, I think it was only 4 points or something. Henry Hardy kicked 7 goals.
Yeah, old Henry Honey, former Gazer boy there.
Let's move on to Div 2.
The Adelaide Airport Division 2.
The Adelaide Airport Division 2. Mobbery and Eastern Park played out in the league's second draw for the year, kicking 91 apiece.
Yeah, 91 apiece. Now, apparently, O'Loughlin kicked a goal to put Eastern Park up very late in the game, 30 seconds to go. Sending clearance to Mobbery, Mark, and 55 metres out, 2 25-metre penalties.
Did you say 3 goals in the last minute and a half?
I didn't actually say that.
Oh, okay, well I'm saying it now. 3 goals were actually kicked in the last 90 seconds of the game.
Yes, no, that is the mail as well. Yes, so but a real Eastern Park had a chance to win that game, being a goal up and giving away 25-metre penalties. Yeah, not good. It would have had Coach Dusty Miller pulling his hair out.
Absolutely. Anything else that you'd like to mention in Div 2 before we move on to Div 3?
Adelaide Uni, as expected, have come good.
They have.
Yes, so they're knocking off walkies, but Old Ignatians, we didn't expect them. They haven't been talked up at all this year, but they have knocked off Port District. Port District just aren't quite finding the form. We really thought they'd be the runaway team this year with all the recruits and the big spending in the summer, but no, not yet.
As I said, we've still got the wet weather to come in, and they are. I guess, not an older, band of players, but I guess the wet weather would probably slow other teams down a bit and therefore give them a bit of more of a running chance, so to speak.
Certainly, I've just noticed you've got sunglasses on your head.
No, that's because everyone keeps telling me, Lisa, stop flicking your hair. Now, I don't want to wear a headband, so I wear the sunglasses. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. I just noticed that, and it is night time. But anyway, let's go to the Billies Division 3.
Div 3, well, the big story this week in Division 3 is the fact that Kilburn, who were actually sitting on top despite losing their last couple of games, have had, or will have, I should say, their premiership points and scores taken away from them for their wins over Mitcham. Seaton and Paraka, because they actually played over the 15-point allocated point system threshold.
Yes, no,
that is a big story.
That's no laughing matter. It's
No.
something in the studio distracting me. But and Salisbury were too good for them on the weekend. The two teams that stood out as premiership favourites after 3 rounds were Payneham and Kilburn. They're both 3-0. Neither team have won since. And yes, all is not what it seems. It's now the Smosh West Lakes boys taking all before them, sitting on top.
Absolutely, but I mean, look, despite everything that's happened to Kilburn in the last week, I guess an upside for them was their new recruit, Sam Dietrich, who'd recently signed from Fitzroy, kicking 5 in a losing side. So, and that's
Son of Grenville,
son of
the lawn
yes.
bowler, the former.
Yes, absolutely.
Probably still is a lawn bowler. Interesting statistic for Division 3: only 1 game separates second and relegation.
Well, there you go. Division 4, actually, while we're taking a look at Division 4, we're going to take a look at some footage from the Greenacres versus Salisbury West game last week, with a special thanks to our guest cameraman, Ange Sinclair, who kindly took some footage for us for the day.
Thank you, Ange.
Pardon?
I said, thank you, Ange.
Right, very good. Now, look, both Unley Mercedes Jets and Hectorville, who both sat undefeated, actually both lost their first games for the season to Golden Grove and Pulteney, respectively.
They did, and we didn't expect Unley Mercedes Jets to lose at all, but they did. So well done to the boys at Golden Grove, the Kookaburras flying high, and Elizabeth. Did we mention them yet?
No.
First win for the year. I just did. It was their first win of the year, knocking off the Plimpton Bulldogs. So we did say these teams, these quality teams, won't go 0-18, and they'll turn it around soon. And the boys down Elizabeth did that, led by Trent Greenshields.
Absolutely, and well done to Elizabeth. Look, it's one of the harder grounds to go and win at. I think they play their oval very, very well.
Yeah, it's odd dimensions, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's the facing the wrong way.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes. Anyway. Div 5.
Div 5 now. Tell us about the big game between Brahman Lodge and Hope Valley.
Well, we were 5 goals up at quarter time. We fell asleep during the second quarter and lost by 8 points at the end. Okay.
Okay, I think the one, I think we've got to take some of the credit for this one. Glenunga were undefeated, but we went down to West Croydon and we fired up the boys, didn't we? And they got the chocolates in the end, knocked off the previous undefeated. And listen to the scoreline. West Croydon 21-8, 134. Beautiful kicking. Glenunga 16-24.
Another 40-goal shootout. 40-something.
37 goals, yes.
37 goals?
But I guess the key statistic, if you want to look at that one closely, is the 11 more scoring shots and losing for Glenunga. You shouldn't lose when you have so many opportunities.
No, absolutely not. So well done to the Hawkers there. Rosewater, they're in a bit of trouble. When I read out this score, first of all, I'll just say they were actually only 10 points down to Fitzroy leading into the half-time break. Now, the end score was Rosewater 7-14-56 to Fitzroy 24-15, 159.
It's a flogging. There's no easy way to...
Now, we'd sort of gathered that Fitzroy were, let's put them good finishers, I guess, but that just takes it to a whole new level.
They've certainly got a good forward structure.
Did have a brief chat to Brad Horsell after the game, and I think he'll probably be sitting down with the committee. Obviously nothing to do, but just see how they can obviously restructure the side so they can have a bit of success this season.
Yes. Yeah, well, we wish apparently the club rooms are coming along well, so all is not lost. So,
just incidentally on that as well, Fitzroy actually won their A's, B's and C's. It's the first time they've actually had the 3 wins, the triple header, since 2009.
That's a beautiful stat, and well done to the Roy boys. I spoke to their coach on the weekend as well, and he very positive about the way the season is unfolding.
And lastly, Luthies remain the only technically undefeated team in this division. They're 4 and a draw.
And they did play in a 39-goal shootout against North
That I
Clayton.
knew someone did. I just remember I didn't have it in my notes.
Now, we talked about horrible kicking. We do touch on it regularly, but in Division 6, Sean Holland obviously doing great things as a coach, because Century United have kicked 20 goals 3. Now, they haven't won the game, but that is fantastic kicking and giving themselves every opportunity.
You wouldn't exactly think that you'd lose kicking a score like that, but unfortunately they did.
Yes, to Lockley's.
To Lockley's. Actually, I think Dutchie kicked 3 himself. But Stock kicked 10 for the units in a losing game. Fantastic effort there. And Sean Stormy, our mate Stormy from Lockley's, kicked 4 for the Demons, the fake Demons there.
What's a bit harsh?
We call them the fake Demons because
What do you call Eastern Park?
Well, they're not. They weren't in our grade, so
Okay,
sort of
fair enough. Okay. Now, just want to make mention quickly of Ingle Farm, so close yet so far. Against top team Mawson Lakes, went down by just 5 points with fantastic effort by Lynch in the midfield, kicking 9. They had their opportunities late, but didn't quite get the job done. Mawson remain undefeated.
Yeah, Mozzies, I think they used their get out of jail free card, I think, last Saturday. Very narrow win to get them, and Ingle Farm had every chance to get over them and just didn't take it. In this division, Blackfriars actually remain the undefeated team, as do Mawson Lakes.
Yes, and of course we mentioned St. Peter's earlier on, which only leaves us one other undefeated team in all of the top 7 divisions, and that of course is Mitchell Park.
Yep, Mitchell Park, of course, still undefeated after. I know. Anyone would think we actually confer before doing this. Still undefeated after a comfortable win over Modbury on the weekend. Nat McDonald was actually doing the job of both brothers, seeing as Luke's been rubbed out for 3 games. He kicked 7 goals, and Podzinski kicked 6 for Mitchell Park.
Speaking to Wayne Wild on the weekend, actually on Saturday, do you know why the other McDonald got rubbed out?
No.
For punching someone in their head. Can you believe that?
No, can't believe it. Unheard of. Unheard of.
I love them McDonald boys.
In other Div 7 news, Josh Mann kicked 6 goals in Tea Tree Gully, thumping of Flinders Park.
He was the man indeed.
Yeah, Flinders Park very up and down in this division, aren't they?
Yes, they're finding them going a bit tougher than when they were dominating those C-grade divisions.
Yep. And Angle Park continue a good season with a 9-goal win over Smithfield.
Anglevale.
Yeah, very far away from Angle Park. And Anglevale, the Owls, proving to have good scoring options. All over the ground, and obviously not just relying on the one bloke, which is, and if you have a look at their goal scorers, they had plenty of.
Yep, doing quite well there, boys, the Owls.
Absolutely. Well, we've covered all the divisions.
We certainly have.
Let's go out next and have a look at Prince Alfred Old Collegians in our footy trip for this week.
Yes, I'm sure we'll meet some interesting people out there. Will we meet the great Jimmy Carter?
Let's wait and see. We'll be back after this break to find out.
Standing here on Park 9 at Prince Alfred Old Collegians home ground for our next footy trip. We're here, we're going to meet all the stars of the Prince Alfred Old Collegian, and just quietly fitting in with the theme of a rich socio-economic background that we have with the students of Prince Alfred, we have a new and working microphone. I'm excited, I'm up and about, it's going to be a great show. We might see Mark Rashudo, I'm sure we'll see Walshy, we might see some of the other stars. The Chappell brothers, they went to PAC, looking forward to getting to know the boys from the Reds. I told you, Rooters, I'd get the big names, the big guns. So here we are with the C-grade coach. It's not Ryan Girdler, it's Nick Girdler. Welcome to Grassroots.
Thanks, Tommy. How are you, mate?
Oh, it looks great
Welcome
to be here.
Welcome to PAC.
Oh, mate, and like I said, I'd bring the big names in. Now, this man's a big name, and I'll tell you why. His C-grade had won 3 premierships before he took over. No, don't hold 4 fingers up at me. They'd won 3, and then he took over. Now, that's pressure, a man that can handle pressure. Tell us, how did you get the team over the line last year for 4 in a row?
Mate, we were just pretty good. We had a pretty solid team, and my job was just pushing them out the door. And we had some good structures that we played to really well last year. We've got a lot of old heads, guys that have played a lot of A-grade footy.
The Jono Walthams and...
Yeah, Jono Waltham. We haven't got Jono this year. He's defected to uni. That's all right. We can handle that. We had Cormac Byrne was our captain. He's got a decent footy pedigree. He played under 18 footy with Gary Ablett, and Tim Sanders, who's played 150 odd A-grade games for us. So we got some boys that can play.
Some decent cattle there, no doubt. Now, how have you found the shift to Div 8? Your thoughts on the whole move, the whole restructuring by the league?
Well, last year, we were in C2, and all year we thought our biggest competition was Rocks and Spock, and
possibly shutting down the Paynham full forward. I know you're double teaming.
And so that was interesting last year. This year, well, we've got our eye on Smosh and Broadies. We gave Mitchell a bit of a touch up on the weekend, but yeah, look, I think it's going to be all right. We hope that the D grades can sustain the numbers. Some of the other clubs are struggling at the minute. But
Is that where you see perhaps the challenge of the Division 8, where the
I think
reserves?
I reckon the reserves we might struggle a bit.
Not
there
so
with
much your
numbers and
club,
everything.
but some of the clubs that.
Oh well, I mean Shelley tonight's. What are we in? Round 5, round 6, and
six, yeah.
Shelley's telling me tonight that we've got to push 5 up from our C grade up this week, so to the A and B grade. So that'll test our depth. We've each week in C and D grade we've given 50 blokes a game so far. I reckon our pressure's just starting to come, and snow season's not far away. And uni exams.
That's where some of the challenges might come.
So yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks very much for being on Grassroots. We wish you the best of luck for the rest of the year.
Cheers.
They're on, mate.
Check this out. Check this out. No handsies. Ooh.
Mate, who are you?
Grassroots footy!
I'm here with one of the Prince Alfred Old Collegian's new stars. This is a man by the name of Michael Artis. Welcome to Grassroots Footy.
Thanks, Tom. How are you?
Oh, it was great to see you again, Michael. Now we've had a bit to do with each other over the years, but I'm going to embarrass you. Two-time All-Australian Gaelic footballer, two-time Australasian Championship winner,
Yep.
best and fairest, player's player. You won it all. You had a rich period of time. You're a Centrals junior, possibly could have been drafted. Now you're here at PAC. Tell us how you're finding it.
It's enjoyable. I'm actually really loving it. Come down from up in the hills, so
Mount Lofty?
Yeah, Mount Lofty. That's correct. Yeah, so come down, have a bit of a kick, a lot quicker, less physical, but it's enjoyable.
Less physical? You're saying soft?
No, not soft. Not soft. No, and it's actually a good group of guys as well. So it's good to be part of an old collegian. So I'm coming from a college background myself.
Yeah,
so.
CBC boy,
Yep.
from memory.
Yep.
Now, one of the teammates must be thrilled to have you got young Kieran, your younger brother, here.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, Kieran's having a run and catch with us. So yeah, it's enjoyable.
How's his form been?
His pre-season form was really good, but at the moment he's just finding his feet. So yeah, he should be right.
3 and 2, sights set on finals.
Yeah, definitely. We were a bit disappointed with last week's performance, but we get that. We lost 2 pretty quickly. Myself and Phil Cleggett got dropped down in the first 10 minutes, so yeah, really took a blow.
Affected the rotation
Yeah.
and so forth. Yep. Now, I guess there's one other thing we could discuss that night, 2004 in Crown Casino. Do we want to talk about that?
I think that should be kept personal. Tom.
Perhaps
Yeah.
it should be kept personal. A mistake was made by me, and we'll leave it at that. But you were one of the ones that were actually there, and you're a big part of my Gaelic success. And I've always followed you, and I hope you do really well this year.
Thanks, Tom.
No worries.
No
Have a
problems.
good night, and
Good day.
get well soon, my friend.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too long.
I'm Nick Brooks. I play in the mighty D grade down in the Div 8 reserves. Play out of the cage, full forward.
Seb Moroney, play in the A's, just a forward pocket. Don't like to run much.
Phil Cleggett, play in the A's, and I'm a wing.
Probably trying to take hangers, trying to get an Almost Footy Legends. Managed to get it a couple of years ago in the 2010, I think. Just being genuinely silly. We don't take it too seriously down in the D's. We sort of just hang around and have a few jars.
I'm sorry, I forgot what the question was.
What do you like most about playing at PAC?
Kicking goals, skulking around the goal square, looking for crumbs, and don't really get many, but when I do, I like to celebrate it.
The facilities, they're really second to none.
Yeah, it definitely has to be Will Thumper Thomas. You can't get him out the front of the mirror. He's just an absolute glamour boy. He's poised to be on Cleo Bachelor of the Year, I reckon.
I'd have to go with Nick Rupper Martin. He's our pin-up boy. Got the red hair, the flabby rig, so it's he looks at himself a fair bit.
Yeah, I'd go with Nick Martin as well. He really enjoys his left tricep for some reason. A real favourite for the left rather than the right.
Well, I rocked up half an hour before training tonight, and he was there on the rub-down table on his own, and he's still there now, and it's probably 7 o'clock.
Usually takes him about 45 minutes to take off his suit. He doesn't actually need to wear one for work, but I think he just thinks he looks good wearing it. So, I don't know, probably hour and a half each training.
However long he does, I think it's justified because he's got the most supple hamstrings I've ever seen.
Okay, well this is the fun time of the night. It's the great West End can race. Alright, thank you very much back there. Okay, I have my 4 guinea pigs for the night. The deal is this. Each have a can. They are going to put the can on their head. When I say go, the first runner to reach the carton, over there Tommy, thank you very much. First runner to reach the carton without losing the can on their head wins the carton. Okay, you can come back whenever you like. Thank you very much. Okay, boys, introduce yourselves, please.
Josh Morrell, Jace Shell, Nick Martin, Kieran Artis.
Boys, let's do it.
Right, starting line, please, boys.
Yeah.
Once you drop the can, you're eliminated. But it's closest to.
Disqualified, so it's last man standing.
Stay here. Stand there and do everyone
So in other words, you're not running.
Hey!
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Bit of comedy. All right, Lisa, on your mark.
All right, on your marks. Get set. Go! Go, McCown, mate.
Oh, they're off to a flyer. Gone, Ardo! 3 steps, Ardo. Take 3 steps. 3 man steps. Oh! I say we give it to Kieran.
Is that it?
Fucking West End.
Congratulations to Kieran, who was our winner, I think, by default. And a big thanks to all the PAC boys for having us out.
You're back. Well, I'm here with the coach of Prince Alfred Old Collegians, Peter Walsh.
Oh, yeah.
It's off to a flyer. Look, a bit of background, obviously, for those that don't know, Peter played at Melbourne, Port Power and West Adelaide before going to Adelaide Uni, is that correct?
That's right, yep.
Yep, with the great Marcus Trimboli. Tell us a little bit about the journey of how you got from West Adelaide Uni and eventually to now coach of PAC.
Well, I got drafted from West to start with, so when I finished at the Power, I decided to go back there and try and finish off the career, which didn't end all that well. I was injured for most of the time. I took a year off, did some coaching with the under-18s at Westies, and then decided while I still could, I wanted to have a kick, and I knew Marcus from mutual friends. He was coaching at uni at the time, and so I went out and had a kick with him.
Certainly. Now, you had, I guess you had a lot of success in one aspect, and you had successful seasons, but twice in a row, I believe you fell at the preliminary final stage. Sorry to bring it up, mate, but what happened there?
Well, look, we played pretty well throughout the season to get ourselves in a good position, and
8-0 one year, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 8-0. So I think we fell short. The first year was a horror day, and we ended up drawing the game and then losing by a couple of points.
Was it extra time to Eastern Park?
Park. And the following year, we actually came a draw in the semi against Rocks, and then the following week lost to St Peters in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And of course, St Peters have gone on to win the premiership there, and 5-0 in Div 1 on top. So obviously a bit unlucky. But let's talk about Prince Alfred Old Collegians. How are you finding it? I guess what I wanted to ask you as well is how many of the players are actually Old Collegians at Prince Alfred? Because that's a topic for debate. Really.
Yeah, look, quite a few. I think they have a good program where they encourage the kids from year 12 to come out and train in the pre-season. Look, I would say 60-65% of the players we've got here now are old scholars, so it's a good rate, I guess, of kids coming out. And look, of the guys that are old collegians, I guess it's a good club to come to because they're playing with their mates.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can actually vouch for the fact that I'm working at Prince Alfred at the moment, and they do have a tremendous pedigree. Marty McKinnon is there, Peter Bubner, former Centrals player, just mentoring the young fellas through, and there's some real talent. So I expect it to be strong for many years to come.
Well, that's handy to know.
Now, sitting 3-2, I guess destiny's in your own hands. What's the goal for the year?
Oh, look, I think the club missed out on the finals last year by a game, and I think.
Devastated by injury throughout the year.
Devastated, and we're sort of heading the same way. I don't think we've ever had a settled lineup so far this year, but the goal is to play finals, and I think the brand of footy we've been playing at the start of the year will allow us to do that. We just got to find the consistency, I guess, like all other clubs.
Then we had a chance to speak to one of your new recruits, young fellow named Michael Artis. Who else has come to the club this year that's been made an impact?
Yeah, well, the two Artis boys, Michael and Kieran. Ollie Tim, Johnny Tim's been playing here for a couple of years, and Ollie's come out after a couple of years off. And there's been a bit of an influx of players who have done SNFL pre-seasons, old scholars who have done SNFL pre-seasons or played a bit of reserves footy, and that are filtering back to the club. So we've got Barnes and Wicks, Buckley, who've all played a few games last year.
Yep.
But are now,
handy inclusions.
Handy inclusions, that's right, yeah. So, all in all, I think we've got a pretty good mix.
Nice. Now, there is one other person who has got a bit of SNFL and perhaps even some AFL experience, rumoured to be making a comeback later this year. Any truth to the rumour that you'll be wearing the Proud Maroon later on this year?
If I can help it, no.
I saw you moving out there tonight, mate. You're looking sharp.
Yeah, look, I actually like to get out and train because it's the only time I get to run around. But look, I think we've got some good. As much as I'd like to play, I sort of wanted to coach so I could have a good go at it, I guess. And I don't think I can do that while I'm playing. But in saying that, the way we're going with injuries, there might be half a chance I'll sneak out to a half-back flank or something.
I can see it in your eye. Now, just briefly on the weekend's game in Portland, I spoke to a few of the lads. Apparently it was a very quick game. Portland obviously are up and about. Who do you rate as the main threat, though, this year?
Oh, look, I think Udi are going to be up around the mark as well. Portland played a really good brand of footy on the weekend, and I think they're 4-1, so the gully will be right amongst it as well. So I hope there's 2 or 3 there that'll be right up there, and I hope we can sneak into the 5 somewhere.
Yeah, certainly. Who have you got this week, mate?
We've got Walkerville at home.
Walkerville, always a tough team. Peter Sheffel, a great coach. Must be looking forward to that challenge.
Yeah, and they've got a couple of young blokes who I coached in the 18s at Westies as well.
Oh, okay.
So,
Fisher?
Fisher's one, and Michael Walker.
I know my stuff, don't I?
Yeah. So it'll be a challenge, and the way we come off on the weekend, I hope improvement's the big thing for us.
Nice. Now, we do like to extract the urine on this show a little bit, so I'm going to ask you about a certain urine extraction incident that occurred here recently. Can we comment on the gentleman that copped the fine for draining the lizard?
Unbelievable. It's a rule that I didn't know, but he took a leak behind the goals before the game, and at quarter time was red carded, so sent off, so missed the whole second quarter.
So you played short?
Played short for 10 minutes, 17 minutes for 10 minutes, and then he couldn't come on until the second half. And so lesson learnt. If you need to go to the toilet, do it before you get on the green.
Well, yes, I'm going to be honest with you. If you come down to paint them over every second week, you're going to see me take one next to the pigeon shed because I can't help myself. It's just something I do. It's a crazy rule, really, but it's not for me to judge, and you do pay my wage. So, look, thanks very much for being on the show, mate. Wish you all the best for the rest of the year, and good luck this weekend to Walkerville.
Thanks very much.
Nice, thank you.
Good night.
Welcome back, Rooters, to the final segment of Grassroots for the evening, and I guess I should say at least a big thank you to Peter Walsh and all the guys out there at Prince Alfred Old Collegians. Wishing them all the best for the year. Thanks for having us there.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a pretty good night, actually.
Probably the only disappointment for me was the West End. Oh, great people at West End. The West End race. I actually tried that out, and I can run about 100 metres in 16 seconds with the West End on my head, and I can only run it in 20 without one on my head, so I just didn't think it was that challenging, but the boys found a way to make it harder than what it was.
Yes.
We're going to do something special now, Lisa, okay?
Yes.
And it's our first ever exclusive C-section. Didn't come out real well, I don't reckon then. But okay, and the C section is just going to be a quick. It's not going to be the goal kickers just because I'm in there. It's going to be the undefeated teams in all C grade divisions. So starting in C4, we have got Eastern Park and CBC, both undefeated still, and I have got the wrath of CBC already this year, so looking forward to a bit of revenge there in round 10.
So Charles pulled on the boots for the C grade?
No, I don't believe so.
Andrew? No?
Not that I know of. In C3, it's Plimpton, making every post a winner. Not doing so well in the A's, but certainly doing well in the C grade. In C2, it is that mighty juggernaut this year, the only Mercedes Jets. Hard team to stop, and they had a big win on the weekend, and they're now 5-0. In C1, well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? It's St. Peter's. They're obviously something good in the water down there on Quotable Terrace, wherever they are. Anyway, they're going well, St. Peter's.
Hackney Road.
Hackney Road, yes, of course.
Just on Plimpton, they've always had a very, very strong C grade side.
They have, yes. Again, that ground, it's a huge advantage of home ground in C grade football, and the dimensions of it make it very tricky. Obviously, some experienced players as well know how to play it.
Absolutely.
Now, the final one is the Division 8 Premiership table, which is exclusively a C grade competition. And we had two undefeated teams take on each other on the weekend. It was Smosh West Lakes and Broadview, and Smosh West Lakes got the chocolate to win by 20 points and remain undefeated in Division 8. This, Lisa, has been C section.
Okay, now you mentioned Smosh a second ago.
Yes, I did.
You're right.
That's my C.
Okay.
I don't want to show my
It's
scar.
like an E without the middle bit.
I wouldn't
It's
know
more
anything about
rounded. Anyway, you mentioned Smosh.
I did.
Guess what?
You've got something about Smosh.
I do. I got an email. We got our first email. Isn't that exciting?
I get emails all the time. But sorry, no, we got our first email.
From Ted. Thank you, Ted, of Smosh. He actually has sent through about four milestones and a hatch of Hatch, Match and Dispatch. All from all the Smosh boys last week. I'll just read it straight from the email. From the A grade, back pocket player Sammy Morris and fullback Ian Ralston in a best on ground performance celebrated their 200th and 150th games respectively after defeating Pembroke in last week's clash out at Haslam Oval. Don't worry about the tree, just get the ball. Also from the Division 8, whom you just mentioned, the C-grade playing coach, who was actually playing at full forward on the day, go figure.
That's Sean Hansen?
That would be Sean Hansen, and halfback Matthew Anderson celebrated their 250th and 100 games. So you can imagine they had 5 wins on the weekend, including their 18, so you can imagine the party down at Smosh that night. Also, A-grade wingman Callum Mason and his lovely wife Hayley celebrated the birth of their first daughter, or their first child, little Emily, last Thursday. And we love hatches and matches and dispatches. So if any of your mates are silly enough to get married in footy season, let us know, we'll embarrass them on air. I have more milestones.
And on Smosh, well done for getting that email in.
Yeah,
it is their Ladies' Day this weekend, another big game, and
Absolutely.
they've got 3 teams sitting on top, so well done to Trenty Hancock and the boys down there.
Their Ladies' Day includes vodka for $30. Hell, I'm in there. Sorry about that. More milestones. Now, this one is a bit belated, only because I found out about it last week because someone tried their most hardest to keep it from me. But Matt, Precious Jolly, Modbury coach players.
The big dog.
The big dog. I call him Precious because you can't touch him on field. He squeals like a girl. Played his 150th A-grade game a couple of weeks ago now.
Can't wait to head out to Modbury.
I call him Precious all the time. He loves
Interviewed him the other day. He's a very, very nice young humble man.
Considering the amount of time he's actually been out at Modbury, I probably would have thought he'd chalked up a few more than that. But
Quite a bit at North and Nord and that though. He's been around.
That's true. He certainly has been around. So happy 150 to Matt there. And did I have any more? No more milestones. Please send us your milestones, and I'll give you the email address shortly. Now, if you were a dad,
I probably am.
if you were a dad and you had a son, what would be your dream in football terms?
Just that he was happy, Lisa. Just that he was happy.
Well, it probably wasn't the answer that I was looking for.
You should have told me what you wanted me to say.
No, never mind. Look.
Kick the winning goal after side in the AFL Grand Final, dedicate it to me, and get on the turfs with me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Most dads...
and get me a West End sign that stays up. Carry on.
One dad out at Fitzroy in the Rezzies on the weekend played a game of football with his son.
Really? Yes.
Not just one of his sons, two of his sons.
Both of them.
Yep. Now they're affectionately called the Wombat Boys.
Yep.
Don't bother, it doesn't
No.
Okay.
All good.
The Wombat Boys. They moved to Adelaide this year, over from Canibba, over near Sejuna, I think, somewhere that is. Norm Wombat Senior.
Yeah, Normie Wombat. I know of Normie Wombat.
Normie Wombat and his son Norm Junior and his other son Jarwin. All booted up this week. So one big happy family in the Rezzies, and as I said before, they had a big win there. But what an achievement!
So was that at Mitchell Park?
No, that was at Fitzroy.
Fitzroy, I know.
Against Rosewater.
Spoke to Darren. Help me out now. I spoke to 3 Darrens on the weekend. Darren, their coach, Fitzroy's coach. Darren Wilson. There's Wilson, there's Reeves, there's that many bloody Darrens.
No, Mitchell. Sorry, Mitchell. Oh God, now you're getting me confused. Okay,
Mitchell, I remember of 67 clubs, 222 teams. It drives you insane, people. I'll tell you.
There you go. There's our stat for next week. Find out how many clubs have Darrens as coaches.
Probably 3.
Knowing our, as I was saying, look, send us your milestones. Send us any good, feel-good, fuzzy-wuzzy stories like that. Information at grassroots at saafl.asn.au, and hopefully that pops up at the bottom of the screen. So we look forward to more emails. I like reading emails. Please send me emails. Now, if you're not playing this week and want to go see a couple of great games of footy,
oh yes,
yeah, head on down to Salisbury North to watch them take on Henley, because something fairly special is happening this week.
Okay, that's sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a bit distracted by the sign. There, okay. Rightio. This week at Salisbury North, it's a huge game. They'll be battling for top spot, sort of, if spot were to lose. No, look, they're playing Henley. Henley coming off a loss, Salisbury North coming off a win, but a special guest appearance by the great Mickey O'Loughlin.
Absolutely.
Of course, Eugene Warrior, good mates with me, he's the coach of Salisbury North. I'm going to be attempting to head down there and hopefully be able to grab a quick interview with Mickey O, absolute champion of the game, 300 odd games to Sydney Swans, and of course it is Indigenous round in the AFL, and I've got a lot of Indigenous mates, and it's a great weekend to celebrate
Playing football.
Football, yep. and some of the special people within our game.
Yep, and of course Salisbury North being one of Mickey O's junior clubs,
yep.
And he'll actually be staying on for the night doing a sportsman's the sportsman's night or chat or whatever you want to call them at the club later on that night. However, if you don't feel like going all the way down to Salisbury North to see Mickey O, you can head down to Adelaide Airport Stadium this Saturday night to watch Gazer versus Shock, a Division 1 grand final replay.
Yes, and we did drive past Gazer today, didn't we? And I must say it's looking in good conditions from a distance. I'm just curious, how long will it be now, do you think, before they can get on?
I might go out and get a Gazer update this week.
A Gazer update?
I'm going to go do a pitch report.
Yes, you're going to get a pitch report, I'm going to get a Mickey O report. It's all going to be happening.
Absolutely. So head on down to Adelaide Airport Stadium. Went to the night game a couple of weeks ago, and as I said, quite a crowd there. It's actually a pretty good atmosphere to watch footy in. So $5 entry, cheaper than the SANFL. So head on down there and watch some great footy.
There's plenty of good games, Lise. Just flying through. Div 2, Adelaide Uni T2 Galley. Huge possible they may meet several times this year, those two teams. They are both up and about. I tell you what, the one that really interests me, Smosh West Lakes and Kilburn. You still got more to come, haven't you? I want to see how Kilburn respond. It's going to be, they've had a big week off the field, and they're a good team. They're going to head down to West Lake Shore, and Smosh have got ladies' days on their mind. Let's just see if Lukey Stubing has them up and about and ready for the Kilburn Chicks. I reckon the Chicks will be looking to really come out of their shell.
I remember when I was at Paynham, and quite a lot of the time they actually used to have... Shut up. They used to have ladies' days on the day that we would play them, and I think the boys liked that a bit. They thought the Smosh girls were good sorts. Anyway, one last thing before we go tonight. The under-23, state under-23 team is actually, the squad I should say, has been announced, and the first training was held on Wednesday night at Adelaide University Oval.
Javois.
No, Javois is just a bit older than 23, so he will not be in the squad.
Not mentally.
However, I'll just read out the squad from club. So from Adelaide Uni, we've got William Painter, Brad Davis, Tom Bateman and Lockie Roach. From Broadview, Damien Tam, and your favourite player, The dish licker.
Oh, Tommy Schlicker.
The dish licker. Alex Carey from CBC Old Collisions gets a berth, as does Hayden Martinello from Flinders Park. He's been doing really, really well since heading on up to a Div 2 club after playing Div 5 at Lockleys last year. From Gazer, Little Johnny Boxer, Trev Boust, Adrian Stevens, Joshy Bembo and Brett Heinze. And from Henley, Sam Daveron, Cody Hicks and Jamie Grosser. From Foss, Matty Jackweir and Tom Betting. From Port Districts, Dan Thomas and Josh Rosenthal. From Portland, Jared Waring.
Have a good trip.
Okay, PAC, James Byers and Tom Barnes will be representing there. From Rocks, Craig Holm, who was in the side last year, Jack Nelligan and Will O'Malley. From Shock, Alex Carlotto and Matty Crittenden, who was also in the squad last year. From Salisbury North, Max Bakula. Gee, he can go, can't he? He's all right. Brad Robertson, Brad Johansson and Sean Marr. From Spock, Tom Fotheringham and Toby Schultz. From Teatree Gully, Joshy, I've got great hands, Bolmeyer and Jonathan Birkin. And from Woodville South, Nathan Rayner, who is an absolute gun. Just because he plays Div 6, he can really go, that kid.
That is amazing. He's in there from Div 6.
Absolutely.
I guess I'd have to... No one there from Hope Valley, Lisa?
No.
Anyone you'd expect to be in there from Hope Valley? Potentially, possibly? Maybe a Jordan Pepper or...
A bit old.
Oh, it's 23s. Oh,
23s, yes.
And you can't play any overage players at all?
No, it's not 23 plus and a half or something. No,
okay, no, normally they don't have an allowance to you can play one or two overage players.
No. Not in state.
And this is someone that you know real well. Nick the Situation Jolly not in there. Bit of a surprise to me.
Well, there's still time for him to be nominated.
Kicked 5 on the weekend.
It's all on form as well. So.
Yeah, he's playing good footy at the moment.
Absolutely. Do we have anything else?
Next week, we are coming to you from...
a club near you, because we never decide these things until 2 days beforehand. So on that note...
It's been real, Lisa. It's been very real.
It's
been an interesting night. It's been a long night.
It has. We will see you all again next week, I hope. But at this point, we'll go out with the Fitzroy C3 club song. Winners, obviously, in their C3 match with the footage we saw before against the Mawson Lake Mozzies. Have a good night, everyone.
Good
See you
night,
next time.
Raiders.
Fitzroy boys, we are the Lions of Fitzroy! Out there on the track, it's up there because they lead, we're never turning back. Other teams try to win, but the rules won't let them in. We are the Lions of Fitzroy! Easy!
Hey mate, did you hear about that rumour about beer karma?
Beer karma?
You drink one of these and a Victorian Cops one.
Oh, really?
They did claim to invent the footy.
That's good.